Hello, everyone, and welcome to Health Through Movement. My name is Rob.
And this is Mike. And today we're going to discuss the value of rest and why we need it.
Rest.
I need some sleep. It can't go on like this. I tried counting sheep, but there's one I always miss.
Is actually taking a break from your intense exercise and allowing your body to repair itself. I mean, that's really what it comes down to in a nutshell.
Oh, okay. Right. So we're just talking about specifically about rest when it revolves around exercise.
For the most part, I mean, there's other factors that can come into play, but yeah, for the most part.
Okay, right. But why do we even need rest? Like, hey, so I like exercising, right? Like I used to powerlift all the time, but like, why do I even need to take rest between sets, or even take rest? Like, can't I just powerlift every day?
Well, basically, your body, what you're doing when you're exercising, and I'll use your powerlifting as an example, is you're breaking down muscle tissue. And your goal is obviously to get stronger. So your muscles need to repair themselves so you can go hard the next time. If you don't allow that, which is, yes, sleep. Yes, there is some refeeding your body and nutrition involved in there. If you push the candle too far and burn it at both ends, you're going to wind up having an injury at some point because you're not allowing your body, because really that is micro injuries in your muscle that you're doing when you are breaking it down and trying to get stronger or bigger or whatever. You will wind up hurting yourself. And that also comes into play the central nervous system too. When you put a stress on the body, which is exercise, your body doesn't know the difference between that or stress at work, stress with your kids, stress whatever. So you are taxing your nervous system too. Now, if you're taxing your nervous system and you're constantly, that sucker's firing constantly, that's going to affect your sleep and it will affect your mood. Now, if it affects your sleep, you don't sleep, your body doesn't repair. So that's really when your body when all the systems are shut down, that's really the best time for your body to repair itself. And then again, mood, that's just miserable for everybody around you. So it affects a lot of things, and really it will all culminate with you probably hurting yourself.
So, I mean, I sleep. Everyone has to sleep every day, but wouldn't that just be enough just to sleep every day and just next day?
I would love to sleep every day too for 9 hours a day. But, most people can't do that have kids and jobs. But
yeah, I mean, to my first question, to the first part of my question was actually second part. Can I just powerlift every day? Same body parts.
No, again, if you don't allow them to rest and grow, you're really not. Again, injury aside, you're not going to progress anywhere. You're not going to get stronger. They're not repairing themselves. They're not getting better in a nutshell. So no, you can sure, you can do whatever you want, but your goals are never going to be met, and there's a good chance you're going to hurt yourself.
Will I get weaker or just not stronger?
It's possible. It's possible. I mean, if you're not resting and repairing, and your body's got to give somewhere, so it is possible you actually may feel a little weaker. I mean, we all have those days that you feel a little weaker, and sometimes you can't even figure out why. Like, you go in the gym doing your normal weight, and you're like, wait, this feels a little bit heavier. It feels a little bit off today. So we all go through those kind of cycles up and down. But burning a candle, like I said, at both ends with that, there's a good chance you could get weaker. But I think injury would come first before a major noticeability and weakness would happen.
So is there a difference between? So it's basically rest. We should have rest so we don't overtrain, right? So we have time to repair systems. But at least in powerlifting, when I was reading up stuff, what's the difference between muscular overtraining and CNS muscular training. Oh, just CNS to the listeners, just shorthand for central nervous system.
Well, I mean, technically they go hand in hand because the central nervous system is what the electrical impulse is what's firing the muscle to begin with. So really, it starts with the central nervous system. So again, stress on the body, you'll have side effects of that, like taking the powerlifting out of it, you
Sure.
could actually gain weight when your nervous system is taxed. It thinks like, oh my gosh, we're in like crazy mode here. I better hold on to weight. I don't know what's going on. You'll lose energy. It'll go almost into like this, I don't want to say shutdown, but into this weird thing just trying to protect you. So now, if your nervous system's taxed also, the electrical impulses won't fire efficiently either. So when they're not firing efficiently, that means your muscle's not moving efficiently or correctly. And then that's really when that's when the injury will really happen. So the central nervous, they're not really separate things. I would consider them two of the same, really.
Okay. Yeah. So I think I kind of get you. Like they're two in the same. Like the muscles would definitely, like I think you were talking more about the micro tears when you're lifting something that needs time to the muscles specifically to heal. But your CNS is just as important for that to rest as well, if not more important, to rest. If I'm reading you correct, listening to you correctly.
Correct. And you'll just be an all-around jerk too. Yeah, it'll happen because you're going to give somewhere. Again, if you're stressed, if you're overly stressed at work, take exercise out of it. You could be a jerk to other people.
Yeah.
So just imagine throwing intense exercise on top of that, and most people on top of that are probably not eating enough for how much they're moving and stressing and everything else. And I guarantee they're not sleeping enough. So your mood will change, definitely.
Yeah, and I agree with you with the mood and like things affects your mood. That's like, for instance, like if I'm not sleeping well and and this is right outside of exercise. This is just a general health information that Mike's given us. It's not necessarily towards just powerlifting or intense, like totally intense. It could be just like whatever exercise you're doing, or even just your exercise through the day or movements through the day, or even just your sleep at night. Like it could just help affect, if you don't get enough rest, it's going to affect a lot of things.
Right. And if I can give just one quick example, I had a client who was doing everything right. She was eating correctly. She was going to the gym 5 days a week. She was walking a couple days a week, doing all these things right. She was gaining weight. I had her actually back off on her exercise, and the weight started coming off.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
So she was very stressed at work. She had a lot of things going on with her family. So her stress level was already through the roof. So adding this extra stressor of intense exercise all these days, it had her gain weight. And as soon as we relieved that stress and backed off a little bit, she started dropping weight. It's amazing what the body will do as a pushback to certain things that nobody thinks about. You just think about going harder, exercising more, eating less, whatever, but that'll backfire on you.
And that's a great example to give, because that's a real life example, and it probably, like a lot of people, like they have stress at work, and they're trying to balance stress, stress at work and exercising and all that type of thing. So they don't know how to really like they don't know what's going on, right? They just know that they kind of want to do all this. So, but like they're like all of them, like a lot of the people, they don't know like how to put rest in there, how to get more rest in there. And like, so what are the types of rest that you could recommend to these people that run into this? Like what were some kinds of rest so they could probably just try to fit that into their lifestyle?
All right, well, I'll take the most obvious one would be sleep. So you want to allow your body to sleep. Now, again, the old adage was 7 to 8 hours, ideally. What more studies are finding that 5 to 8 will work. Again, depending on if you can get into that deep REM sleep during that 5 to 8 hours. Because you can lay there for 8 hours and not really sleep well. So, obviously, you're going to want to sleep better and deeper. Now, as far as activity goes, you're definitely going to want to take a day or two or more, depending on your age and goals, off from major physical activity in a week. And you're going to want to also do something called active recovery. Now, active recovery is you're recovering, but you're moving. So that can take the example of going and doing the treadmill, going and doing some yoga, going in, maybe doing some swimming, some hiking, stuff like that, which will actually promote recovery because you're not really going super intensely, but you're moving, getting your heart rate up, again, which promotes circulation, which promotes healing, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, and let me ask you more specifically. So, I mean, people use a treadmill, people hike, but I think the key term is intensity, right? Like they like almost like, let's say on their intense days, they're on that treadmill and they run let's say 10 miles, right, at a certain pace. If I got what you mean, so on their rest days or when they should rest, they should on their active recovery on a treadmill. They should do maybe a mile or the same 10 miles, but on a slower pace. Is that correct?
Yes, and again, everybody's slower pace is different for everybody. So
sure,
you want to back off a little bit. I mean, for some people, maybe doing slight intervals will be all right too. You know what I mean? Maybe going hard. I'm going to use it because you brought it up, the treadmill, for an example.
Sure.
Maybe going 30 seconds hard and a minute to 2 minutes slow.
For
30 minutes.
For active recovery? Or
yes.
Okay.
Yes. Again, you're trying to promote circulation and a healthy nervous system activity. You're not so let me give you an example of what intense is then. Intense would be, again, powerlifting, like you said, going super heavy, going for long periods of time, doing a lot of sets, really squeezing the muscles, really going intense with that. And it could also be running doing a 20-mile run. I mean, some people do that too. That's I should really give you the example of how to mix it all together to really show you what I mean, because I'm throwing all these things out. Let me tell you what an ideal week for somebody would be. I tell people, I have a lot of people I've trained in the past that were runners. I can't stress enough that I'm not a big fan of long distance running. Some people were built for it, but whatever. But there are people that do that. I still think those people should do at least 1 to 2 days of resistance training a week. I think everybody, male, female, 20 years old, 80 years old, needs some form of resistance training 2 to 3 days a week minimum. Now, I think you should mix in with that your active recovery. Now, the active recovery, again, we just discussed pretty much what that is. It's a lower intensity activity. You can play around with the intensity a little bit, but for the most part, it's nothing crazy. What you want to promote your body to start recovering. Then mixed in with that, you want a little bit of a day or two off, again, depending on your goals and what you're doing. And then one last thing I did not mention yet, which is NEAT work. That stands for 9 exercise activity training. Now that could be cleaning your house, walking your dog. It's just moving. That's basically what it is. Just because you're resting doesn't mean you have to just sit on your butt and do nothing, which, don't get me wrong, it's nice once in a while. But so let's say your week consists of Monday you do some resistance training. Tuesday you can do active recovery or take it off. Wednesday you'll do resistance training again. Thursday, if you didn't take off Tuesday, you take off Thursday. Friday, maybe you do some resistance training again. Saturday, active recovery, and Sunday off. Again, that's playable. You can play around with that. But you got to think in a 7-day period, again, depending on your goals, you need a mixture of all that. And through the studies I've seen and through the work that I've done through my own training and through Precision Nutrition, is which I'm a certified coach in, it has shown that having that thing. And now, again, athletes and stuff, take them out of the picture, but that the most success has been with this breakup of your week in this fashion.
So right, and I think you're saying to, when people say, hey, you work out 4 times a day, for 3 times, let's say 3 times a week or 4 times a week, and then have make sure you have 3 days of rest or whatever in there. I think to Mike's point, you gotta intermix it in there with it. So like if you're doing intense on one day, next day kind of change it up with like one of the kinds of rest that Mike was talking about, with active recovery and just the neat work. But what other types of, is it all physical? Like I think you mentioned sleep and other things. Is mental rest just as good?
Absolutely. And nobody wants to hear the M word, which is meditation. The looks I've got from clients in the past when I've told them meditation, they assume I mean hum.
Right.
And have one of those singing bowls.
They're in the mountains.
They're in Tibet.
Yeah.
And again, that is meditation, but meditation could be simply, going into a dark room, shutting off your phone, having no electronics, and just breathing, taking deep breaths and concentrating with each breath, just clearing your mind, and just taking 5 minutes minimum to do that is meditation. And people don't realize that. And it's hard for people. People can't shut their brains off.
Right.
And if you don't have, and having your brain firing constantly, which the brain is part of the central nervous system, like we discussed, you're not going to be able to go to sleep. Not only that, but be able to go into that deep sleep. So I think meditation's really important. And again, 5 minutes, and there's 5 minutes.
And there's if anyone's interested, you could definitely just close your eyes and just kind of be in a quiet place and do that. But there's actually good techniques that any person could learn to meditate better. There's
guided meditation videos.
Yeah, there's visuals. Yeah, there's where it'll just help you get into that state better and at a more efficient manner, as well as your state of meditation will be better. So we could put links to that as well on the bottom of this video.
As you can right now in this moment, allow yourself to just be here and now.
And we'll go into it. I will have to say that yes, I think you brought something else up, and when you're talking about meditation, is like putting cell phones away and stuff like that. And I think that goes to also right before sleep. No, like they say not to look at your phone right before you sleep. Just before you sleep, make it like 10-15 minutes right before you want to go to sleep.
Even longer.
Yeah, just don't be on your phone. Just don't look at your phone until you fall asleep. Just kind of just get in the practice of just laying down and just trying to sleep. So
and avoiding caffeine, but probably stopping your caffeine around 3 or 4.
Right, that's a good idea.
And yes, and then all the electronics, and making sure your room is dark and cool.
Right.
And just those couple of things right there, will aid in. Again, what is that doing? That's helping your mind go into that sleep. Because when you're going through your day, your body is supposed to start producing melatonin. And the melatonin is what helps you fall asleep.
Right.
Now, while you're sleeping, your body starts to produce histamine. And histamine is what helps you stay awake. So you got to help. And your body was built on a day-night cycle. So you're supposed to wake up with the sun and start to want to go to bed when it goes down. That's naturally what your body's supposed to do. But because of internal lights in our house and electronics and all this other stuff, it messes your brain up to understand when it actually is time to go to sleep. So it really is a good idea to shut electronics off, turn the lights down, get away from the world, and just try to relax and clear your head. And that would be a good time to do that 5-minute meditation minimum.
Right. And so, like, yeah, and like if anyone's interested, we'll put links on the bottom to some reference guides, or at least some infographics on how to easily get into like a basic meditation state. And we'll put links of any information that Mike had mentioned earlier here, and more information if anyone's interested.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and that's pretty much it. I mean, like, rest is pretty much important to everybody. We all need it. Not only the people who exercise daily and whatnot, but just like everyone has stress in their life, and everyone just needs rest in their life. So,
I just like to throw in, everybody's in this mode of, I have to go hard all the time. I have to. It's go big or go home. It's no pain or no gain. We live in the CrossFit age. We live in the boot camp age, and people are just don't realize that intensity and that working out at the gym is really only 35 to 40% of it. The other 60 to 65% is the getting the right nutrition in, so your body has the building blocks to repair itself, and then getting the right amount of rest and backing off enough to allow your body to repair and use those nutrients to build. You know, if it's like a builder going to build a foundation, and he's got no cinder blocks.
right.
All the workers are there, everybody's set to go, but there's nothing to build with. So people don't worry about enough of the other stuff. They just worry about, I went to the boot camp, I sweated my butt off, I almost passed out, I can't even move, I did a great workout. Well, it's a shame that you're basing a good workout on that, and then you're not allowing yourself. I mean, you're going to a boot camp 5 days a week. That's what those boot camp places is like. Here's one low price, and you can come as much as you want. So I just think people need to concentrate on that.
Okay. Right. So yeah. So and I agree with you. Like, just the value of rest is just as important, if not more important, than exercising. And again, we're not aiming this video or this information to people who who already are in that fitness movement or whatever. We assume they already know what they're doing. Like at least the powerlifters, the bodybuilders, they know if they work their chest one day, they know to do legs the other day, right? They kind of know this stuff, and
they have their whole life planned out.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think we're talking, I think this is just information about people who may not know that, or people who are just starting out in powerlifting or bodybuilding that just go crazy every day. So, but there you have it. I think this is great information Mike had talked about, and it just is basically value rest. Is there anything else you wanted to say, Mike?
No, I just wanted to let everybody know, if you have any questions, you can comment on this video. You can always check out my website too at realisticfitness.com. Drop me a question there if you'd like. But yeah, it's important, guys. Make sure you take that time off and rest. You want to go hard, that's great, but know when to back off.
Awesome. So there you have it. Thanks guys for listening. This has been Health Through Movement. Guys, just remember to rest and relax on those days off.
Yes, guys. Thank you so much, and thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
Take it easy.